A narcissistic wife treats her husband that you can learn from them. Hey everyone, great to see you again. Today, we're diving into a topic that's often avoided: selfish women. It's crucial to discuss this because these women, who are frequently mothers, can cause significant harm, particularly to their children. Men can also experience abuse at home, but their stories often go unheard due to the associated shame. While we typically associate vanity with arrogant men, it's time to broaden our perspective. Narcissism in women can be equally destructive. In today's video, we'll explore how a narcissistic wife treats her husband in a long-term relationship. This aspect of selfish behavior is seldom discussed, so let's shed some light on it. Let's get started. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the bell icon for updates on new videos. Number 1. Gaslighting and self-blame. Being in a relationship with a narcissistic partner, especially as a man, can leave you constantly questioning your worth and feeling responsible for every issue. If your partner is perpetually dissatisfied and critical, you'll feel powerless and blame yourself for all the perceived problems in the relationship. This kind of gaslighting aims to make you doubt yourself and reinforces the narcissist's control over you. Despite your best efforts, you'll never be able to satisfy them, leading you to believe that you're the problem. It's essential to recognize that this self-blame is a tactic used by the narcissist to maintain power and control over you. Number 2. Lack of support and constant opposition. Another sign of a selfish partner is their refusal to be your friend or equal in the relationship. They never offer support or understanding. Instead, they always take an opposing stance, undermining your confidence and dismissing your views. This behavior stems from deep-seated trust issues and an inability to form secure attachments, leading them to constantly doubt your intentions. Rather than fostering a relationship based on trust and respect, they perceive you as a threat to their fragile sense of security. As a result, they consistently oppose you, damaging your self-esteem and sense of worth. Recognizing this dynamic is crucial for breaking free from manipulation and reclaiming your freedom. Number 3. Intimacy manipulation. Narcissistic partners often use intimacy as a weapon, especially if it was a means of control early in the relationship. Over time, they withdraw affection and make you feel guilty for seeking physical closeness. This manipulation undermines your self-worth, making you believe that your natural desires are somehow wrong or shameful. Each rejection leaves you feeling more isolated and reinforces the notion that you are the problem in the relationship. Number 4. Isolation from help and support. Narcissistic partners will do anything to keep you away from your friends and support networks because they see them as threats to their power over you. They become hostile and critical if you try to make friends or maintain existing connections. They scrutinize your friendships, finding faults or fabricating reasons to distrust them. Under the guise of caring for your well-being, they may even suggest you spend time with people they know you won't connect with. This manipulation isolates you, increasing their control over you and making you feel trapped and disconnected. Additionally, if you express concerns about their friends, they will perceive it as an attempt to control them, highlighting the inherent lack of fairness in the relationship. Number 5. Undermining your self-worth. She lives in a fantasy where you always fall short of her expectations, leaving her perpetually dissatisfied. You'll be subjected to frequent disparaging remarks that erode your self-esteem. She will ensure you never forget how unworthy you are by bringing up ex-partners and making direct comparisons that highlight your perceived shortcomings. Constant criticism may drive you to prove your worth by setting impossible goals at work or striving to earn more money. However, no matter how hard you try, it's never enough to satisfy her insatiable demands. Number 6. Transferring past wounds. Every scar she carries becomes your burden. She sees fit to treat you poorly, attributing it to the ghosts of your shared past. You morph into her emotional scapegoat, shouldering the weight of others' transgressions against her. Whether it's swiping credit cards recklessly or engaging in other reckless behavior, she views them as retaliation against those she perceives to have wronged her. Attempts to confront her or question her motives are met with a cocktail of gaslighting, manipulation, and passive aggressiveness, ensnaring you further in her labyrinth of illusion and dominance. The monarch-servant dynamic is the seventh sign. In this theatrical performance of a relationship, she assumes the throne while you begrudgingly serve. Rather than standing side by side as equals, she dictates your every move, especially concerning finances. Regardless of your contribution to the household income, she assumes control over every penny spent and every financial decision made. Any deviation from her expectations is met with disdain and interrogation. This dynamic shackles your autonomy, reducing you to a mere pawn in the game of your own existence. Remember, the constant need to seek approval is neither natural nor conducive to a healthy relationship, particularly in matters that should fall within the realm of your own responsibility as an adult. Eighth wonder, the maestro of shifting fault. She's a virtuoso when it comes to orchestrating blame, effortlessly deflecting any wrongdoing onto your shoulders. Every misstep, every mishap finds its scapegoat in you. Gaslit and manipulated, you find yourself questioning your own sanity as you shoulder the burden of her imperfections. Over time, you learn to accept fault for everything, even when logic screams otherwise. This insidious tactic ensnares you in a vicious cycle of self-blame, fortifying her dominion over you. Remember, her burdens are not yours to bear. You are not accountable for her actions or their repercussions. Recognizing this truth is the first step toward reclaiming your autonomy and breaking free from her grip. Ninth Symphony, emotionless echo. In the realm of empathy, she's an empty vessel, incapable of forging genuine emotional connections. Conversations with her resemble monologues against a stoic facade. Your words fall on deaf ears, devoid of understanding or concern. Express your anguish, and don't anticipate remorse. She's incapable of it. Responses like, "We're talking, what more do you want?" dismiss your anguish with callous indifference. Scarred by her own past, she numbs herself to feeling, fearing the judgment and scorn of others. Consequently, she cannot offer you the solace and kinship you seek in a partner. 10th Act, a repertoire of divorce dangers. The specter of separation looms large in your relationship, recurring like a refrain. Despite their frequency, these threats gnaw at your sense of self-worth and stability. Whether she wields them to prompt your departure or to express genuine discontent, these warnings cast a perpetual pall of unease and insecurity. Though familiar, they remain potent weapons in her arsenal, casting doubt upon the very foundation of your bond. May this elucidation shed light on the workings of your relationship. It's imperative to recognize these toxic patterns and cease self-blame. Seek assistance, for untangling oneself from such destructive ties often requires external support. If this discourse has proven beneficial, kindly express your appreciation by endorsing the discourse and subscribing to my channel. Your cooperation is deeply valued. Remember, you're not traversing this journey alone. Together, we can navigate these challenges. Don't overlook the link in the description for a complimentary book and personalized session, an invaluable resource for further healing. Persevere. I eagerly anticipate our next encounter. Until then, fare thee well.
This is 5 ways your silence can ruin a narcissist's life. What do you think a narcissist fears most? You might say, well, it's exposure. They tremble at the thought of being unmasked, for it could spell the loss of everything they've carefully crafted. But what if I told you that's not their deepest dread? Their greatest fear is solitude. It haunts them incessantly, propelling them into a frenzy of perpetual activity. Silence, to them, is an abyss, an eerie void devoid of distraction. In moments of quiet, the weight of their shame, long concealed, presses upon them with crushing force. They've evaded solitude at all costs, yet when confronted with it, the discomfort is palpable. Narcissists recoil from silence. To them, it's a cacophony of discomfort. Greetings everyone and welcome back to the Narcissist Revealed channel. Today's episode is titled 5 Ways Silence Shatters a Narcissist. If you find this intriguing and wish to delve deeper, I encourage you to subscribe to my channel before we commence. Your subscription aids in raising awareness about narcissistic abuse. 1. They feel completely helpless when they can't get you to talk. They crave your reaction, yearning for your emotional response. They derive satisfaction from inciting anger or distress with their words and actions, seeking to manipulate you like a puppet. It's imperative for them to maintain control, relishing in the ability to elicit a reaction from you. They become unhinged when met with your silence, unable to comprehend your lack of response. The uncertainty of your intentions and plans torments them, consumed by the talk swirling around them. Consequently, remaining silent and refusing to engage with a narcissist proves to be a formidable challenge. Some may experience a sudden onset of chest pressure and shame in the face of your silence, overwhelmed by the weight of their own inadequacy. Yet, you must resist the urge to be confrontational. Instead, let them experience the discomfort of silence. Their inability to elicit a response leaves them floundering, desperately attempting to regain control. However, silence is their Achilles heel. Devoid of your reaction, they are left feeling hollow and disconnected. 2. They need to know what you think. In this way, they strategize how to inflict pain upon you. Understanding your thoughts is crucial to their manipulation tactics. When you withhold communication or respond with lengthy messages, they are left in limbo, unable to gauge your emotional state or whether to continue their hold over you. Your vulnerability, such as when you earnestly endeavor to salvage the relationship and pour your heart out in lengthy emails or texts detailing your pain, becomes their ammunition. They resort to deceit and manipulation in a bid to regain your trust, only to deceive you once more. However, your silence triggers a defensive barrage of accusatory emails and texts, projecting onto you misdeeds you have not committed. Driven by paranoia, they believe you are constantly plotting against them, projecting their own callous nature onto others. In the narcissist's distorted worldview, their behavior is normalized, assuming everyone operates with the same disregard for others. The prospect of losing control over you incites anxiety and panic, as they grapple with the uncertainty of your intentions and the unpredictability of the situation. Their disdain for unpredictability stems from their own inability to tolerate uncertainty, despite their occasional attempts to surprise you. 3. Narcissists find silence dull. For understandable reasons, they fill their days with activities to distract themselves. The turmoil within them is so overwhelming that they must keep their minds occupied, lest it consume them entirely. They seek out conflict, unable to tolerate peace or tranquility. Even when disinterested, the narcissist fixates on trivialities from the past, dredging up conversations from months prior to provoke confrontation. You find yourself entangled in a cycle of defense, explanation, and justification, culminating in exhausting battles that span days and weekends, leaving you bewildered and drained. The internal chaos must align with external circumstances. Any dissonance reveals itself unmistakably. To maintain equilibrium, they seek to bridge the gap between their inner turmoil and the outside world. Thus, you may observe their mood lift after engaging in heated arguments that leave you emotionally drained. As long as they deplete your energy through conflict, they feel content. It's disconcerting to witness how easily they drift off to sleep after subjecting you to tears and confusion. They revel in their slumber while you grapple with the aftermath, a stark demonstration of their selfishness and cruelty. Hence, likening a narcissist to a vampire or a predator is not unjustified, as their actions align with such sinister personas. 4. Narcissists feel hurt when you don't say anything about them. Regardless of their treatment towards you, narcissists demand unwavering respect. They expect obedience and adherence to their dictates, envisioning you as a subservient entity who greets them with a smile each morning. They experience a sense of injury when met with your silence and robotic demeanor, as it wounds their fragile ego. To retaliate, they may escalate their punitive measures, further stifling your voice or depriving you of essential resources. However, in the presence of a selfish parent, maintaining silence may not always be feasible for a child. Personally, I found it impossible to remain silent during my upbringing. It's natural to recoil from interaction with someone perpetually subjecting you to abuse. Delayed responses served as a form of rebellion, a subtle defiance against imminent retaliation. In my experience, silence was synonymous with impending violence. Failure to respond promptly often resulted in physical retribution, a harsh reality of my upbringing. For a narcissistic parent, silence symbolizes defiance, rendering it challenging to remain silent in such circumstances. 5. Quiet means you're sane. Granting you space to be silent is something they avoid at all costs. They prefer compliance without question, akin to a machine following programmed instructions. They understand that in moments of quiet reflection, you may begin to unravel the complexities of your situation, potentially seeing through their facade. By maintaining a state of perpetual vigilance, they ensure you remain on edge, suppressing any inclination towards independent thought or emotional exploration. Their relentless pursuit to dominate your life, day in and day out, stems from a fear of relinquishing control over your perceptions. They fear that regaining your independence will unveil their true nature and expose their manipulative tactics. While silence may offer you a sense of freedom, for a narcissist, it represents the ultimate captivity. Thus concludes the 5th and final point. It's time to draw this narrative to a close. Thank you for your presence and attention. Until we meet again, let the journey of healing continue unabated. The suffering of a narcissist's life will become even more painful after you leave him. Navigating life after leaving a relationship with a narcissist can indeed be incredibly challenging. The aftermath often involves grappling with a whirlwind of conflicting emotions, including hurt, confusion, and even self-doubt. It's natural to question the sincerity of the love you felt and the promises that were made, especially when faced with the abrupt departure of someone you deeply cared about. One of the most perplexing aspects of dealing with a narcissist is trying to understand their motivations and whether they are capable of feeling remorse for their actions. While it's tempting to hope that they might eventually come to recognize the pain they've caused and express genuine regret, the reality is often more complicated. Narcissistic individuals typically possess a profound sense of entitlement and a lack of empathy for others, which can make it difficult for them to acknowledge or take responsibility for their hurtful behavior. They may be skilled at manipulating situations to their advantage and shifting blame onto others, further complicating the process of healing and moving on. In many cases, the narcissist's focus remains primarily on their own needs and desires, leaving little room for genuine remorse or introspection. However, it's essential to remember that every individual is complex, and there may be rare instances where a narcissist experiences fleeting moments of regret or self-awareness. Ultimately, the most important aspect of healing from a relationship with a narcissist is prioritizing your own well-being and focusing on self-care. This may involve seeking support from friends, family, or a therapist, setting boundaries to protect yourself from further harm, and engaging in activities that bring you joy and fulfillment. While it's natural to seek closure and validation from the narcissist, it's essential to recognize that true healing comes from within and cannot be dependent on external validation. By cultivating self-love and resilience, you can emerge from the shadows of the past and embrace a brighter, more fulfilling future. Our brains like to take the easy way out after a hard day, don't they? As comforting as it is to say, "I love you," it's much harder to face the fact that their deeds don't quite match up. If the two don't match, you might feel lost and stuck in a cycle of emotions that you can't get off of. It's possible to wonder, do they even miss me? Since you cared about them so much, it makes sense to expect the same from them. Narcissists, on the other hand, care in a strange way, if you can even call it that. There are three main things on their minds when you decide to leave. To begin, they are obsessed with keeping their picture safe. They're more worried about how other people will see them after you leave. I thought, what will people think of me when my partner left me for a while? To keep up the image of being a loyal partner, which I clung to, I worked hard to make up a story that made me look like the victim. Fearing for my reputation, I thought, how will this affect my reputation? They might make things more dramatic before you leave to make you want to leave so they can avoid blame and save face. It's all about keeping up the image of a saint, even if their deeds don't match up. They'll worry about saving themselves after you're gone, not your feelings. Because of this, they may try to get you to fall for them again by any means possible, even if it means ignoring how much they hurt you. The hoovering strategy is one that narcissists like to use. Let's look at how it works. It's used for a few sneaky things. To begin, when they try to get you back, they only care about making themselves look like the good guy. "See, I tried," they'll say. "We fixed things. Don't you think that makes me look good?" This helps them believe their twisted story of events and keeps up the appearance of being a good partner. In order to keep up looks, they also use character assassination, which is a common form of smear campaigns. They'll tell lies to put themselves above you because they want to look better than you. To make themselves look better, they'll make you look like the bad guy by blaming you for everything. In the worst situations, they might even blame someone else to protect their own honor. It doesn't matter what they say. They'll say anything to make themselves look good by dragging your name through the mud. Once a relationship is over, the last thing a narcissist cares about is their image. What they do to get ahead, even if it hurts other people, is driven by their obsession with how other people see them. There's nothing else going on. Knowing this helps you understand how they act after a split. As I already said, a narcissist's main concern when you're not around is how they look to other people. What's next on their list, though? Cash. Third, it's all about having power. A narcissist loves being in charge. Getting lost is their worst fear. They take a big hit when you decide to leave because they're used to being in charge. They are very afraid of losing power over you because being in charge is a big part of who they are. How do I regain control? Is something they ask themselves all the time. They keep going over it in their heads because they can't stand the thought of not being in charge. They try to pull you back in after a breakup because they are afraid. They are trying very hard to get back the power they lost. They try to get you back into the relationship after it's over just to keep their hold on you. This is called hoovering. They'll do anything to keep control, even if it means lying to make it look like you stop things instead of them. It's all part of their plan to keep power even after the relationship is over. Let's deal with narcissists in a real way. Their world is run by three things: their money, their image, and their need to be in charge. People who are narcissistic will do anything to protect these three people. If you want to get away from a narcissist, it's important to understand these basic things. It can change the game to know how scared they are of losing power, how much they care about how they look, and how desperately they want to keep their money. Of course, these things also play a big role in legal matters like divorce or child custody fights, which is why they act the way they do after you leave. One big truth about narcissists is that they only care about themselves. This is especially true when a relationship is ending. They aren't very good parents because they avoid doing what they need to do or give it to someone else. They might not even take care of their pets. It's clear where their interests lie if they don't care about how you feel or the state of the relationship. When you start to doubt yourself or wonder if you're crazy, remembering this can save you. But didn't they say they cared? You might ask. They said things would be different, right? They didn't do anything with those words. How they treat you and the other people around them every day shows what kind of person they are. Finally, all they care about is keeping their image clean, their money safe, and staying in charge, especially when you're out of their reach. The most important thing to remember is that you're not crazy. Things like the ups and downs of your feelings, the uncertainty, and the chaos are all normal and expected. Lots of other people have been through the same things and come out better. Don't be afraid to ask for help or get in touch with people who understand what you're going through. It can be hard to break up with a narcissist, but knowing what drives them, image, money, and control, can help you understand their actions and move on. You won't get through this alone. Give yourself time and help. To sum up, getting inside the head of a narcissist after a breakup can be like untangling a bunch of wires. It's hard and confusing, but you can face it head-on if you have the right knowledge and people to help you. Click the like button and share your thoughts or stories below if you thought today's chat was helpful. It can really help if you share this chat with people who might need it. Also, if you want more deep conversations like this, make sure you're subscribed and that alerts are turned on. We're excited to keep bringing you good stuff because of your help. Thank you very much. Please click on the link in the description to get a free book and the chance to talk to someone one-on-one. Thanks a lot for being on our team and always looking out for us. Don't forget that you're never on this road by yourself.